Welcome to Her Tea Time, the podcast where golf meets girl talk. Whether you're crushing drives, crying in the bunker, or just here for the vibes and cart drinks, we've got you. No scorecards, no judgment, just a safe space for hot messes and high handicaps. Welcome to Her Tea Time. Okay, you guys, welcome to episode 10 of Her Tea Time. We have a really exciting episode today. We talked to one of the coolest guys. He is a coach. His name is Christopher Howard, and he is a golf professional based out of Las Vegas Golf Club. He works with players at every level, from beginners picking up a club for the first time to consulting with tour professionals. Currently, two of his students are D1 conference champions. When Chris isn't sharing instructional content or breaking down his students' swings, he's traveling the globe and leading private instruction through his golf schools. Over the past 9 years, he has hosted more than 850 golf schools across 5 continents and 200 cities, racking up serious frequent flyer miles and building a global roster of golfers eager to learn from the Las Vegas-based pro. And sweet little Christopher, oh my goodness, y'all. So he was our very first Zoom interview that we did. And in the beginning, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, well, not really, but we couldn't get the link to work at first, or he couldn't find it, or I don't know, the email didn't go through anyways. So I was just trying to figure that out. And then bam, he pops up, he's there. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're going. And then I just saw white. I just blacked out. I don't even know what happened. I almost deleted it, but my husband and I were crying laughing at this, at what I say. Just, oh gosh, Chris, you're a trooper. I'm sure I know, I could tell you're wondering what have I got myself into, but I hope you guys enjoy this. And if anything, it's a little relatable. I've about cried my lashes off because it just cracked me up, but enjoy my humiliation. And Chris, thanks for being on the show. I got so much out of this episode, and I hope that you guys do too. Okay, enjoy it.
Test on me. Let me know.
There we go. All right. So, Chris, do you go by Chris or Christopher?
Either's fine. Chris is good.
Either's fine. Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys. Okay, let's see. Let's start here. All right. So, I guess we don't need our audio clap for this one, do we?
No, but you probably should introduce yourselves.
No, I am.
Chris.
No, I am. I'm about to just start our recording with him.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey guys, we are back here for Her Tea Time, episode number. We don't know. We're just gonna quit counting because
it's a good sign.
Too much.
A good sign.
But I'm about to sound like Steve Harvey, but we got a good one for you today. We are joined with Mr. Christopher Howard, Christopher or Chris, and he is a D1 coach. You coach pros. You coach. I don't even know how many different people you coach. All kind of people across the country,
lot.
Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this. How old were you when you first started playing? What led that to you where you are today?
I was a little kid when I started playing. I guess I started playing when I was 7 for the first time. I got really into the game probably around 13, 12, something like that. Played hockey and golf. Realized I wasn't good enough to make it around 22 and started coaching. So
Okay.
I coach out of Las Vegas. I also fly all around the world doing golf schools. So that's kind of what I'm known for, teaching golf schools all over the place.
Yeah. So you're year round, you're just traveling.
Yeah, I try and take a little break during the winter. I mean, it's a long tour season because I'll do a golf school in one city, then I'll jump on an airplane, fly the next, and repeat that process daily. So I like the day off.
What does that golf school look like? Is that all different levels? Is it multiple days? I'm so curious.
So it depends on the year, really. This year's format, we take 8 players. It is me and I guess you talked with Max a lot when we were arranging this. My director of instruction, Max, and we go from city to city, 8 people. It's a 6-hour day. Work every part of your game during the 6 hours. Then there's a follow-up program with both me and him that's online lesson based for 6 months afterwards. But the golf school itself, it's an awesome day. Every level of player gets in it.
Okay.
Brand new golfers, I wouldn't use it as your first experience into golf, but once you get a few rounds under your belt on a golf course, then it's really worth it. So
So that is so cool. I've never heard of that before. So it's like a whole process. Like they sign up and they have a day with you, but then you also touch base and you have online sessions too.
oh, absolutely. So it
That is
becomes
so
it
cool.
becomes a community too. I mean, there's a
Wow.
Facebook group for all the players that Max and I are in virtually daily, giving out tips, communicating with players on their needs. Like we set goals with everyone before they come in, and I don't always achieve it, but the goal is for someone who wants to work through the process to get their handicap cut in half by the end of the program. So,
Does somebody have to know their handicap to go through the program?
well, no, I mean, if you are a newer golfer, if you know what you're shooting, we can establish something from that. And I mean, if you are a brand new player, I always say, if you can break 110, this school will be good enough for you. And I think the key
We
to
could do it.
there, yeah, right. I think the key, to breaking 110 is just doing it. Going out there playing, and most people are capable after some time of being able to shoot a number like that. And then after you get past 110, it gets into learning how to play right, because there's a simplicity to hitting the ball, finding it, hitting it again, dribbling it down the fairway. As long as you're playing the right tee markers, you're eventually going to be able to get it in the hole. But if you're trying to shoot good numbers, there's strategy involved to it, there's skill involved to it. So that's kind of the mark where I jump in. And we've had elite players. I've worked with players who play the game for a living in these golf schools. Right next to a guy in Sydney last year who I think it probably was his first time. I think he told me he had experience, but he just I don't think he did. But it's just such a wide range of player that can do it, and I format it so that everything's one-on-one, so it helps everybody.
Yeah,
That's
I love
so
that.
cool.
That's so neat.
I was gonna ask what your favorite story with a student was, in regards to somebody being in Sydney, or I don't know, a professional. Do you have any crazy I don't know, a crazy story about anybody that's gone through?
I mean, so the craziest story, I mean, it's not a crazy story, it's a boring golf speak story, but I had a guy in Portland, Oregon who came out that had never broken 100. This, God, 6 years ago now. And he managed to go from never breaking 100 to winning his club championship within 6 months by shooting 67,
wow.
69 in a club
That's not a
championship and
boring
winning it.
story.
So I
That's
broke
awesome.
101, so that means I then also need to follow in those footsteps.
Yeah.
Right, win the club
Sign us
championship.
up
There you go.
today.
It's doable, but that's my
That's
that was
amazing.
my crazy. I can't believe the guy did that story when I saw the trophy on his Instagram account. That's
Does
pretty
that make you
nuts.
feel
How you feel
good?
back
Like
for
I'm
that?
doing,
Yeah.
doing a good
Yeah,
job.
I
Is
mean,
there an
so
age range that you have to be within?
um yeah, it's usually adults that are doing it, but I'd say anyone above 10, because
Okay.
it's a fairly long day that no
Yeah.
adult would have problems with. But
You
if
know.
you're if you're 5 years old, a half an hour into it, you're lost. So I'd say 12 is a good number as a cutoff for a player. If a 10-year-old is already competing and doing well in tournaments, they'll be able to make it through the day. So I don't have a firm age. It all depends on conversations.
My kids drug me through the driving range for 2 hours last night, and they were not ready to put up a stop.
Yeah.
They were rocking and rolling. I was like, guys, we got to wrap this up. I am tired.
We have 4 boys between 2 of us, and they're basically like the same ages.
4
Hers are
and 5.
just
Sure.
4 and
So,
5, and they would not stop.
Yeah, we're already trying to get them out there and just make it fun for them, and
I think what you just said there is the key to anyone that's raising little golfers. I mean, so I have an academy in Vegas, right? And I don't teach that much out here. I still teach a lot of my high school players that I'm developing to go off and play college, or when somebody comes into town. But it's pretty rare. But I still have the academy. Max teaches out here. I have a couple other instructors. But the instructors that are teaching the young juniors, the 4, 5, 6, 7 year olds, I require that they make it fun for them. That's the key. When you're a young kid, if you're not having fun, then this isn't going to go far. It is not about, you're doing skill development, but it has to be in a way that they're not thinking it's skill development. Like if I'm teaching you, we're going to spend an hour, talking about your game, what you need to do to improve, so on and so forth. If you're a little kid, it just has to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. I was an educator for a lot of years, so in the elementary space, so I'm all about
those little brains.
Yeah. It's the same with teaching them anything. It has to be a fun experience, or that kid's not going to pay any attention.
Exactly.
So as you know, our podcast here, I started playing golf after I had my second son. I experienced terrible postpartum depression. And jokingly, I was like, what? I need to get out of this house. Like, what's going to get me out of the house for a good minute, not just an hour here, And I was like, oh, golf, I'm done. I had played a little bit, like 10 years before with my brother a little bit. But I started playing and just took off, fell in love with it. And I know there's more women out there that need this, that need the game, that need the sunshine, that need the community to go with it, to just the mental
confidence
relationship that you build with yourself playing golf. And so I guess the first thing I really want to ask you is we always go over like your mental state when you step on the course, how to be confident, how to not let your nerves just take over. And I guess what I want to ask you is, I know you said you coached D1 champions and touring pros. You've coached so many different people, but what would you say separates the top 1% of players mentally from everyone else? Is there anything that just...
That's a good question.
I think this sounds cliche, but the ability to forget. Yeah. A lot of elite players, they will get in there and they will hit the worst shot you could possibly imagine, and within seconds be able to get over it, right? It just flows out their mind. You'll see a brief burst of anger. The whole big thing is Scotty Scheffler chucking a club into the woods. He will have a brief burst of anger, but by the time he's over that next shot, it's already gone.
And how many places did he jump up in the waste management from?
A gazillion.
I'm like, he's the perfect example of that. Like, he just forgot every day before, and he's like, whatever. Yeah.
Man,
women don't forget things as easily as men do.
That's such a
the good golfers have that ability on the golf course, though. They can get over it.
I almost have the opposite. Like, I never remember what I do when I hit a good shot. I'm like, how did I do that?
That's the next huge element to it. The good players completely forget, when they hit a good shot or when they hit a bad shot. It just moves on completely, and you can't get too high, you can't get too low on a golf course.
Yeah, that's so fair.
I'm gonna ask one.
Yeah. On the topic of like mental state, things like that, what do you do, or what do you teach or coach if entering or starting a round, all the chaos of life leading up to starting that round? Like, how do you, other than just forget it, is there anything you coach or encourage players to do? Kind of like a self-talk in the car, a little pep talk, or is there any like motto or mantra you go by with that? I'm thinking like from the stance of like mom, like being a mom, like I'm like, oh my God, the chaos just to get in the car.
To get in the car, getting ready for it. I mean,
sometimes that's the hardest part as a new golfer, is just getting yourself there, you know?
Sure. Here's the key, I think, for a junior golfer, an adult golfer, any golfer. You know, once you step foot on the golf course, there's, I think, good players kind of uh, have this calmness once they get to that property. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're in their safe space or whatever you want to call it. Like that's their home. They're used to it. Whatever noise is happening. I mean, I won't give specifics, but I know elite players who have been going through the absolute ringer. They're getting a divorce. Their parents are about to pass away, and their life is an absolute mess. But the second they get to the golf course, they're just in a zone. So I think when you're starting out in the game, finding a way to come to a peace when you get to the golf course that you're in your happy place, you're where you want to be. I mean,
Yeah.
whether you're an elite player or a 40 handicap, you're blessed that you get to play the game of golf. Whether you're doing it with your
Absolutely.
buddies or whether you're doing it for a living, it's most people are never going to be able to experience that. So just be happy and breathe in what you get to do and make the best of the situation. Have fun.
Yeah.
That's crazy you
Um,
said that because Kelsey just lost her dad not long ago.
And also got a divorce.
And got a divorce.
I'm
like,
sorry to
let me
hear
tell
all
you,
that.
You just nailed it and nailed it.
Yeah.
And my dad was a very, I don't know. He was a very passionate golfer when he got to play. So it's been fun. We're all lefties in my family, my entire family, other than one of my siblings, me, my
Sure.
mom, my dad, one of my siblings. So I got all of his clubs and all sorts of things. And so I've been like testing out different, new clubs. And I don't know, it just feels like I saw this like connection to him. And that's kind of where I went into golf, was when I was getting a divorce. I'd played before, but I really was like, okay, I've never had time to myself without kids. Like, what am I going to do on these days? And that's kind of where I had lived on a golf course before, so I played, but that's really how I got into it, in the sense of like really getting into it. Was on those like weekends I all of a sudden didn't have my little chaos all around me. So yeah, it's funny you said both those things.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
No.
I think golf, it can be a reliever from all the stresses going on in life. And I think a lot of people, a lot of young men and women, they grow up playing with their dads. So, that's something that they could keep with them as they go
Absolutely.
on. It's a connection they'll always have. That's how I got started. I played with my dad. He lugged me around the par 3 course and I dragged the clubs when I couldn't even pick up the bag yet. You know what I mean? So I'll always have those experiences with him, So
For sure.
he doesn't play golf anymore. He's getting up there. So, but it was always a good experience as a kid. So.
That connection will always be there, whether,
Yes.
you're both playing at the same time or not, but the connection of the roots of it.
So I
Yes.
have a good question for you. So I actually grew up like without a dad. I had an older brother who took me to the range maybe once or twice, but I didn't have anyone ever taking me to a golf course. So like whenever I got into this game, I was essentially on my own. Like I had never had anyone to show me the ropes. I had to sign up for my own clinics to go and try and learn. And just the intimidation factor, I guess, of just the unknown, or just the level of anxiety for someone that's not familiar with any of this from the get-go. What would be the best advice you could give someone to help them show up and not be so just overcome with fear? Like what's some steps that someone that wants to get into the game can take to where they're walking up to their class or their course to feel a little bit more confident, if that makes sense?
I think this is, you can kind of, if you look at like women's golf specifically, there's not enough of this around the country. Like if you go into the New England, there's a great organization. I know several of the ladies, they've done my golf schools. There's a women's organization, and San Diego and Phoenix have one as well, where it's a laid back, hang out with the gals type experience for like professional younger women. When you get to be older, you know, and your husband and you are members of the country club, there's always those women groups that you can get involved in. But there's never really been that, professional age, 25 to 50-year-old crowd, and
Yeah.
they do it incredibly well. It's a hangout. There's usually some instruction there. The ones who get really serious, and I've had schools in Boston where it's 80% of those ladies that are doing my school. So they're getting really interested in the game. I think that's a good way to introduce the game of golf to women. We have one in Vegas that's just starting out that I really hope grows into something like. But I mean, you'll see in the Boston, San Diego one, 50, 60, 70, 80 women at the range hanging out, getting exposed to it. And that's not, when you're just hanging out, if you don't, and you're new to the game and you don't take to it immediately, then you just hang out and have a couple drinks and,
Yeah.
use it as a social hour. If
Mhm.
you take to the game, then you'll be the one sitting on that mat just banging out golf ball after golf ball. So I think we need more of those.
Connect like groups for just connections.
Yeah, it would be nice, if they had those in every city.
Yeah. We've got a bunch here, so
There's a lot in
that's
Houston.
cool.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
so many
women's
groups.
golf groups.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
Awesome. I think I could think of 5 off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah.
That are out there. I would say, and I know you asked him the question, but I always think whenever I think about this question, I think about like the gym. Like it's everyone's first time at some point, and no one else
Sure.
knows if it's your first time
Mhm.
other than you.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, when you go to the gym, like when I go to the gym, I don't know if it could be my first time and it could be somebody else's first time, but like no one knows. Same thing on at a range or at a course. Like everyone's had a first time and no one knows it's your first time. I don't know, and I feel like that's like comforting.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you're in the right setting, it will be comfortable. 100%.
For sure.
I did not realize y'all had a big, like, I'm gonna be in Texas in like 2 weeks doing my tour through all those cities.
Oh, nice.
I
Yeah.
Where are
never
you going in Texas? Sorry,
I
I interrupted
will
you.
I'm sorry. So I have 2 stops in Oklahoma. I have Oklahoma City and Tulsa, and then
Okay.
I have Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, and Houston for this run. But I never get any of the women's golf groups when I run through Texas. It's
We'll have
rare.
to throw your name out there. We'll hit
Yeah.
them all up for you.
For sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
I'm from Dallas and we live in Houston, so
Yeah.
I'm on 2 of those.
We'll spread the word for
Right.
you for sure.
I have horrible news on the Houston front. I'm sold out. I'm sold out.
Well, you're
Yes.
come back.
amazing.
That's
amazing.
Yeah.
great news. Then.
Dallas. When are you gonna be in Dallas?
I teach out of Lake Park. I used to do it out of Cowboys.
Okay. Yeah.
But as my schools got bigger, they didn't really have. They have a great range and they have a great green, but it's not
Accommodations
big
are hard.
enough to handle my bigger schools.
For sure.
So Lake Park was the perfect scenario for that, and it's a good track. But yeah, I'm pretty much sold out. When we were going and reaching out for podcasts that originally I wasn't sold out in Houston, but Max sent me all the information on your podcast. I thought it was a pretty cool concept, so I did.
Hey, what a
Cool.
cool thing to say though, like that you are sold out. I mean, that's
that's awesome.
that's amazing.
That's great news.
Yeah, it's I've sold out most events for the last 6 years. Occasionally, I'll run into one of those, Midland, Texas,
Yeah.
or Wichita, Kansas, or Des Moines, where it comes up a spot or two short of selling out. But we usually sell. I just got done with my Carolinas tour a couple weeks ago, and that was originally all sold out, but it turned into an absolute debacle because they had the worst winter weather in the history of.
No one knew what to do.
Yeah, I got all the schools in before the snow, but I had a sold out school in Charleston about to happen, and 4 of the people were going to drive in for like 3 hours to get to the event, and I was like, look, everything's non-refundable. You're in the event every time, but I just said, hey, we'll get you in another school in the future. You do not need to drive 3 hours through a foot of snow that you're not used to get to this.
Yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
So I want to kind of switch gears here a little bit and talk about how golf has grown on social media, I guess. Would you say that has social media helped or hurt serious golf training? Because, and I guess this kind of ties into another question as well. Like, with that, like, what do you think makes a golf influencer credible or just popular? Like, because I don't think we shouldn't just be listening to tips from every single page we flip on, right? Like, how should we know who to really follow besides you, obviously? Just you and no one else.
I mean, I will throw this out here, and I get a lot of gruff for it. I like to social media has been great because it allows you to get your brand out. I would never be able to do what I do without social media, right?
Mhm.
When I started, in this industry back in 2007, well, I'm coming up on 20 years. That's nuts. You there was social media was young. It was hard to reach people. The concept of touring around doing golf schools was unheard of. Golfers would call their local golf course to get lessons, or they
Yeah.
would see you in Golf Digest, right?
Oh,
And the top 100 list in Golf Digest, there's tons of excellent instructors, but that's a buddy's click right there to get.
Popularity.
It's a popularity game. Yeah. So, that was the only two ways to get your name out there. If you weren't on the PGA Tour coaching all those players, like if you were coaching Tiger Woods, your name was going to get out there no matter what.
Yeah.
Now with social media, anyone can put their, you know, philosophies, their concepts, anyone can put it out there and say, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Um, the negative of social media for the golfer, right? I I think, most people don't realize this, but most people slice the golf ball because of, the first 2 feet of their golf swing in their backswing. And 99% of social media instruction about stopping a slice has to do with the downswing.
Yeah.
Golf, and this is kind of boring, and I'll keep it very brief. Golf is a game of physics, right? Physics and biomechanics. How the body works, the forces you put on that handle and the initial part of that backswing will have a huge impact on what it does later in the golf swing. So you go watch your social media tip, and they say, "Oh, well, get your club more behind your hands coming down." Like, well, I can't. I put the forces on early. It's going to force the club head to go out there. So getting tips from social media probably is not the way most golfers should go. If you're looking for an instructor, you can see a lot about how the instructor thinks of the golf swing, and you make your decision. Oh, I like what he or she is teaching, um and I like his philosophy, so I'll go with that instructor. I don't like what they're teaching, but trying to improve your game off of social media tips is never going to lead you to long-term results. You may get a tip that makes you feel more confident and didn't really change your game. You just felt more confident. You played really well for a couple of weeks, and you think that social media helped you. You just had more confidence and were able to go better. So
Cool. Gotcha. That's cool. So let's see what else. So I guess since we are building a woman's golf platform and we often talk about motherhood, should moms approach junior golf differently than dads typically do? And I guess by that, I feel like more dads are kind of like, I don't know, hands-on and like kind of trying to coach more. Like, would that be, I don't know, is that doable for a mom in your
both moms and dads should stop doing that.
stop?
Yeah, my kids
Okay.
won't listen to me when I try to help them. So
Yeah.
hopefully that works out.
So we both just need to
Sit back and relax.
shut the hell up.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, your hands-on role should be supporting your kid, making it fun, making them feel. I preach to all my juniors that you know, dealing with juniors after they play like crap in a tournament is tough. I preach to them, Tom Brady, what he talks about. You just love the process and want to win, and it happens, right? You can't get too down on yourself, and being golfer's parent, your role is to make sure that, the kid's going through his process. He's having fun. She's having fun. That's the key to it. Like, support your child in golf.
Right.
Do not, the second you start, I mean, parents don't know. I have swing conversations with some parents. They'll come out and they'll bring their kid out for a first lesson. And a lot of times they like to hang out and watch me teach the first lesson. And then they'll spend like 10 minutes talking to me about what they see in their kids' golf swing. And I'll just be sitting there, what?
Yeah.
What? And it makes most parents think they know stuff about a golf swing. They don't. And they definitely don't know what makes or breaks their kids' golf swing. I remember, I won't say his name, but me and the dad are friends. He came into a lesson about a year and a half ago, and his son's getting really good now. And he was talking about how he thinks his son has too much flexion in his lead wrist at the top of his backswing to play well. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, first of all, your son's lead wrist is absolutely extended. So let's look at a video of it and show it. So don't try and coach your kids. You have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I also think I think the junior body itself is so different. I mean,
sure.
Like their proportions to their clubs are different. I mean, there's so many parts to it. Like, that's such a good point of like, we don't know their swing. I mean, I don't even know my own swing. Like,
right.
I have no room.
Exactly.
True.
I mean,
when I used to play, I'd always have another coach keep an eye on my swing for me.
yeah.
And I mean, I obviously know a lot about the golf swing, but I always wanted a second set of eyes to kind of like talk me through what they were saying. Max still competes professionally, and we talk about his swing. I've coached him since he was a little kid, right? I took him from like
That's so cool.
12-year-old out to play. He basically plays like the double A of golf.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I still talk him through everything, but at this point in the relationship, he'll come to me and be like, I think I'm here. What do you like about this move coming down? Do you think I should change anything? It's not like me just talking at him anymore, right?
It's like he feels it, and he wants that like mirror reflection or conversation.
Sure, to validate what he thinks he's working on. That's what you do at that level. So.
Absolutely.
So, I guess as a coach, how do you coach someone through a complete loss of confidence? And is there anything that a parent could do in that same situation, not coaching, but just encouraging them? But I guess the first part first, how do you coach someone through a complete loss of confidence?
That's a brutal one. And here's the thing about junior golfers, especially. Their loss of confidence on a golf course is usually caused by an external factor.
Absolutely.
It's there's the old saying, you think you have the stud 12-year-old who's going to make the PGA Tour, right? Wait until they get their first significant other in high school and find beer, and then we'll talk about if they could get through that. Factors that are happening in school, everything affects their overall confidence on a golf course for college player or pro, whatever. It comes and goes, but I think the key is leading a player to find it themselves. And it can be as simple as giving them a new feel so that they start seeing if there's something structurally wrong with their golf swing that's creating the problem. Obviously, you have to fix that structural problem, for them to get their confidence back. But, confidence comes from results. Confidence doesn't come from words. You have to see something to believe it. You have to win to believe that you can win, right? I always say most juniors, the good thing about exposing juniors at a young age is they play really easy golf courses. They move the tee boxes way up, and they have these great results when they're a kid, so they know what it feels like to do it from a really young age, right? Most people who start in high school usually stumble their way into their first win. I remember Max just thinking he was playing horrible in his first ever win, and then getting to the last hole. And I was like, "You won." And he was like, "Huh?" Because the leader behind
yeah.
him absolutely collapsed. He started at 11, 12 years old. He wasn't playing when he was 5 or 6. And then he started winning after he got that first win. But you kind of stumble your way on it, but you build confidence after you do it. So that's how you get out of, a lack of confidence situation.
Yeah,
Fair.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, we can switch from the junior golf conversation, I guess, if we want, but there's so many things. I'm like, I could just talk about this all day. I'm kind of thinking more on the parent side of the junior golfers, moms, dads, whoever it is. Do you have any thoughts, or what would you say to a parent who is taking time for themselves to go on the golf course and to prioritize, physical movement, and they feel guilty for doing it? What would you say to that parent or that person, just that person in general, if they feel guilty for taking time away from their family and or friends or whatever? What would you say to them?
I mean, we all have to get away a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, so if that's your way to get away from everything, us guys have been doing it for hundreds of years at this point, since the beginning
we don't
of
have
the game.
problems.
So your turn,
Just do it.
yeah, right.
Truly.
And when you talk about your kids, as the kids get a little bit older, it's a great experience for you to be able to be out there with your kids on a
They're
golf
already out
course.
there with us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We take
but
If they hear that we did anything golf related without them,
we're in trouble.
it's like we're talking a pig Latin if we're talking about golf around them, like no
Sure.
way.
Yeah.
sure, yeah, but you could get away. Go ahead, play some golf.
Do it.
Yeah. So just do it, ladies. Don't
Do it,
feel
lady.
bad.
I love Chet.
Absolutely.
Do it.
I have another question.
Nope.
Honestly, just because I'm thinking
Grab my
all over the
coffee real
place.
quick.
Do you typically encourage your golfers any sort of workouts or other physical activity? Like, what do you recommend in that sense outside of, just day-to-day golf?
Do it. I am not a physical trainer. I run with a little bit of a gut way too often in life that I'm trying to get rid of now.
Those two.
But if you're being yeah, right, if you're trying to be competitive, go for just move. I think high level players need to find a golf specific trainer so they can be making the right motions. But
Yeah.
There's a lot of explosive movements in the gym that can benefit every aspect of the golf swing.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I have a question
absolutely.
too. So before we switch to our fun little segment here, but I've heard a couple times about getting a lot of people want to get fitted for their clubs, but I've heard that it's almost just as, if not more important, to get fitted for your grips.
ooh.
How do you feel about that? Because, and the reason I ask is because I forgot my gloves one time, and the only one that was available was like a winter glove that was just thicker. And I swear that thick, I don't know, grip just like changed stuff for me. I don't know. Does that make sense? Is a thicker grip like a good
I
thing?
mean, they do make like those.
Can be. That's so player dependent.
It is.
Um,
Okay.
I have always played with. I got big hands, but I
Mhm.
play with slightly smaller than normal grip size. So it's all player dependent. Like Bryson DeChambeau has the massive jumbo grips.
Yeah.
I'm a one length club player as well.
Really?
And I mean that's totally different than getting
Yeah.
custom fitted for clubs. I mean you can do
Sure.
them all one length essentially, but
Yeah.
I will never forget. I was in San Francisco and I like to demonstrate golf shots, and I usually grab like an 8-iron, when I'm demonstrating something. And I got up there for the first shot, and I just dug that club right in the ground and absolutely
Right in.
duffed the shot right in front of I was like, all right, give me another one. Did it again. I'm like, what's going on? And my player's like, oh yeah, you know how Bryson does one length clubs? I'm like, wait, this is what it is. That was my first ever experience
Oh
with
wow, yeah.
One Leg Golf Club. So I am not a fan. It made me look really bad.
Wow.
I've got two sets. I've got the Cobras and the Pinhawks, and I love them. I mean, my entire golf game changed when I switched to them. Like
Really?
something about the okay, with this club, I need to stand this far from the ball, and this my feet this distance. Like I would get so wrapped up in that, I couldn't even figure out what felt natural. And so, like
Sure.
switching to one lane set. I mean, essentially, there's a little bit of shift, obviously, where the ball is at in position, but like I don't have to think about that as much. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. What if you're aware?
Personal
Obviously,
preference. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're aware. Personal
if you're
preference.
aware.
I mean, I could never do that. I have with my own game, I have no urge to do it, but I know people who love it. Fitting to me is something as you get better. So a lot of players, this is a story I tell everyone. I was at my last academy and one of the manufacturers came in, and part of the deal was when they signed the agreement with the academy that all the golf instructors had to watch them do a fitting. And I was sitting there, I was like, why do I need to watch this? I've been fitted, I know what's going on. And I watched the fitter take this like 12-year-old girl who was becoming pretty good, and they she didn't get enough arc height, and she didn't the launch angle wasn't good enough. So I was sitting there. She was working with another instructor at the time, not me. I was sitting there watching her putting the ball way too far back in her stance with a driver. So she's hitting down on the driver, right? So it's really hard to get optimum launch dynamics in that condition. And I watched the fitter say, all right, we need to put more loft on the club. Excuse me.
Or let's get it positioned
Yeah,
correctly.
why don't we work on that angle of attack first? And
Yeah.
once we get the angle of attack down, in theory, yes, the ball will go more up in the air. And in theory, that player with what she has right now will get better, because she will get the ball more up in the air and it will probably fly a little farther. But now, if a coach, and she gets that driver, it's sent out to her and she's using it, and then a coach says, okay, well, we got you on TrackMan here. These numbers don't look good. Let's make these changes. Now she has a driver that is nowhere near optimized for her performance. So I think one of the things that I always tell people is develop your pattern before you get fitted. After you have a pattern, then go to those, fitters and get everything set.
Okay, cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any more questions before we start our...
No, let's jump into confessions.
Okay, so we usually do a little golf girl confessions, but today we're going to do a little coach confession.
Yeah, we're gonna put on a
All
spot.
right.
Putting you in the hot seat here. All right, so first one is, what's the most common excuse you hear, just in general, from your people you coach
Or yourself,
I don't have time.
I don't have
that excuse. I could go for days about that excuse right there. Let me tell you. I
Yeah.
have a passion about that excuse. Anyways.
We like to try to make our listeners just feel, just, I don't know, relatable. We like to be relatable. So what is your most embarrassing moment on the course that you can think of?
Hitting myself in the nose with a golf ball off a tree.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I tried
that's like
on a par.
America's
I
Funniest
tried
Home
on a par
Video.
5 to get aggressive and hit it around a tree, and I hit it square in the tree and came back, hit me in the nose, and I was on the ground for like probably a minute. Good old punch to the nose. Most embarrassing right there. Yeah.
Oh, did it break?
No,
From
it
like
got
the
right
ball,
there
the
and then
nose,
went
the
down,
tree,
got
which
the
one?
lip. Oh, it was bloody. I actually finished the last 2 holes though.
Oh man.
I was a hockey player. It's all right.
Fair.
So we kind of asked this earlier, but do you have any like crazy parent or coaching moments you can think of? Just any wild people you've had to deal with, or?
The craziest parent coaching moment I had, it was not one of my students. One of my students was in the group with this kid, but it was a tournament, and the 12-year-old kid and the parent got in such an argument. The kid just threw his bag down on the side of the green and walked to the parking lot, and they were screaming at each other the whole way. And the clubs are just sitting there. They're both going to the parking lot. They just leave the clubs behind. So finally, I picked up the clubs, brought them in the golf shop, and I guess at some point they came and picked them up afterwards.
Man,
That
he
was
said,
a
F
sight.
this game and these clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
and my
all.
parents.
Take my clothes too at this point. I'm done.
Yep, that was fun.
Golly. Oh my gosh. What's your worst habit on the golf course? Practice, range, anything. What's your worst habit?
Hmm. Getting bored. That
Valid.
you have a slow round of golf that's not going the way you wanted to,
Oh yeah.
losing focus immediately. A lot of my juniors can attest to that. Obviously, playing golf is not my number one anymore. I teach, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I go out there with the intention of playing well, and by the fourth hole, I'm just sitting there thinking about my business, sending out text messages constantly, not paying attention to the round of golf. That's my number one.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair.
I get that. Let's see. Did you have like a really talented player who could have been great and they just didn't make it, and why? Or most talented player who didn't make it, or just who fell off, I guess, and why?
I won't
But
say
like
his
someone that felt
name,
like a big loss.
Yeah, we don't have to throw
You
we don't have to throw a name, but
but and this is not a student of mine. This was a former teammate in high school. He um, played high school golf with me. Incredibly talented. Played in international events. Was one of the best juniors in the world. And and got a full ride conference player of the year. Looked destined to play on the PGA Tour. By his sophomore year, he was in jail for 12 years. That was
Oh
the
man.
saddest one to go. He's no longer with us, but
Oh yeah.
seeing that still bums me, and I use him as a cautionary tale to
yeah.
all my junior golfers.
Yeah, man, that's sad.
Very sad.
So, you have any more confession questions for us? You have a favorite like post round drink or anything like that? Like, what's your favorite drink on the course? Or
I generally, I very rarely get to go drink on a golf course, which sucks because I'm generally being brought out to do something, entertain, be there for a reason when I'm playing, or I'm with a bunch of juniors. So really hard to get drunk in front of
And that's when
bunch
you
of
need to drink the
12-year-olds.
most, honestly.
Yeah, right. That's when you start throwing them back. I'm boring. I'm just drinking Michelob's all day when I'm
hey,
out
I
there.
love a
with
Michelob
people.
with
like
tahini
it.
and lime. I
Yep,
wear tahini
there
in
you
my
go.
purse at all times.
Yep, there you
I
go.
love Okay, so I guess the last big question that we will end with is if we may have already kind of gone over this, but I don't know, I'm still gonna ask it. So if you could give just one piece of advice to every new female golfer who may be listening to this, what would it be?
Go out there, make friends, have fun. You'll start loving the game. Don't take it seriously in the beginning. Make it a social thing. And as you get better, I tell people, men, women, whatever, when you start to see this tiniest bit of success in this game, you will keep chasing more success. And you will never, here's the problem with golf, you will never not want more. No one's ever like, I'm good enough at this game. Tiger Woods doesn't think he's good enough at this game. No one ever will. And at some point, you'll go bankrupt and lose everything because of this hobby. But
Yeah.
it'll be a fun run.
It'll be a good time. We'll all have a story to tell.
Yeah, right.
This too. So I see so many ladies that golf with their grumpy husbands, and it almost kind of like a parent to a child. They almost kind of just make it not fun. It's like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. So I love your answer. Like, get out there and make friends. So
Right.
ladies, if you're not having fun with your husband,
Switch it up.
Switch it up. Leave him
Yes.
at home. Like, go hang out with your girls. I love that you said that. We're all about
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
We almost might have too much fun.
We have a lot of fun.
Can you
We
have
play.
fun?
We go to the
We
course.
behave.
We pay for a round,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how much golf is actually played. There's a lot of dancing.
Yeah.
Sure.
We might hit the
Go for
ball.
it.
We might hit the ball actually too many times.
Yeah.
But like the goal is honestly like every time we go play, it's like we're having fun. It's not that serious. I'm not going pro.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for something else, I don't know, but it ain't gonna be golf. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Have
But
fun.
yeah, having fun is
Well, Chris, I can't thank you enough for joining us. It was so much fun talking to you. And wait a second. I have one last thing for you. I have a confession. So,
What's
Max,
happening?
we were talking, and I told him that I just had gone home from Mardi Gras.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, oh, he's like, Chris is like from New Orleans, and he goes all the time. But my confession is, I'm actually not from New Orleans. I'm from Mobile, Alabama,
Okay.
and where Mardi Gras started, right? And
Yes.
Oh,
so
rivalry.
I was like, we're having a little rivalry here. Have you ever been to Mardi Gras in Mobile before?
I've been to so many in New Orleans. I mean, I lived right there on Harmony and Britannia for
Okay.
8 years. So the
Yeah.
parades would happen, half a block from my house. So I was out there.
Uh-huh.
I was never going to leave that experience. I knew my time in New
Oh, yeah.
Orleans was numbered. But I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I've heard great things about, down there in the South from basically Mobile over to Baton Rouge, maybe even to Lake Charles. Mardi Gras is an experience unlike any other. New Orleans probably does it longer than
Yeah.
anyone else, but, over a greater period of time. But my God, it's great. I was so
Can't
jealous
go
when I
wrong
heard
there.
that you were there.
I
Yeah, he
know.
told me.
Yeah.
I
That
haven't
was
been to
fun.
Mardi Gras in 10 years.
Oh, no.
I've never been.
You got
to
to.
Oh, you got to go.
I'm a
You-
Dallas girl.
She's never been.
The first,
so,
I mean,
yeah, we
You,
gotta
you
make
got
that
to be
happen.
Mardi Gras.
I know,
For
I know, I
sure.
do need to for sure. Everyone
I'm
was
the
talking about it
big-
at work the other day, and I was like, this feels like another language. Like, there's so many.
Oh, it is.
I was like,
It's
I don't
a
even.
whole
What are you saying?
lifestyle.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
just a
like,
lifestyle. Yeah.
I need to study before I go. It's my first one.
Here's how you learn to do Mardi Gras right. You go to New Orleans, you go down there for St. Patty's Day, and you do St. Patrick's Day, and then from there, you've experienced a day of what Mardi
Exposure
Gras is like,
therapy.
and then you see if you can do it for a week.
Yeah.
No
It is.
chance I could, but
That's why I'm so frazzled today.
that's fair.
I'm still tired.
Right?
Oh, that's so
That's
fun.
awesome.
No, we really appreciate you today. This
I
has
know.
been so good.
So fun. And we'll definitely
Yeah.
keep in touch. We're gonna spread your name. And I want to get in one of these.
And I'm like, what?
I'm gonna sign up next
I'm gonna have to
time.
do some
So
research on this Dallas one.
yeah. So let us know.
I come into town all the time. I'm in Texas at least once a year. Sometimes I make 2 runs through. So
Okay. Well, next time
It's a big state. You should
Yep.
definitely do 2 runs at least.
get ready
You know?
because
Yeah.
we're coming.
We're coming.
there we go.
Need help.
I know. Thank you
Love
so
it.
much, Chris. I hope you have a
Thank
great
you.
week. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
I did not